Let's get that going there. Guys, I'm so excited about today's video. I live for a good old-fashioned Q&A. They're so old school YouTube. I love filming them. I love watching them. And you guys really came through with some really good questions, like ones that I feel like I've never answered before. They're of course, there always are the repeats. I'm just going to get this one out of the way. We're barely going to touch on it, but I feel like considering 50% of the questions were this one question, I have to at least like address it. I had my baby the same time as you, and the thought of number 2 fills me with dread. LOL, what about you? Which we knew the baby number 2 questions were coming. I feel like this is something not a lot of people touch on, or at least maybe it's not a lot of people touch on. Does anyone else feel this way where I have Decker, I love Decker, the thought of another baby is so exciting. Second, I've always known if we're lucky enough to have a second, like we would love that. But I never really thought about how, like, not sad. Oh my gosh, this video's off to a great start. Anything taking my attention away from Decker, even a second, it's crazy, let alone a whole nother human. Like, it makes me feel so nervous of like, how the heck can I love something so much again? Like, how can two? And people always say like, your heart expands. But also, I'm very skeptical. I feel like with childbirth, people say like, oh, it's fine, it's great. I found it to be rather difficult, I'm not gonna lie, or at least the recovery. The recovery was maybe, like, I feel like people are not honest. Like, and by the way, my recovery ended up being totally fine. 2 weeks later, I was like, let's go, going on like long walks in the neighborhood. But in those 2 weeks, I just was like, everyone lied to me. Like, no one told me how hard it really was. And now I feel the same way. I'm like, this whole baby number 2 thing, are people lying again? Are they just saying things? So I very much so do want another child. Not right now. I'm not in a rush. I feel like that is like the path less traveled these days. I feel like everyone's like knocking out baby after baby after baby. Zach and I've never really wanted that. Like, I definitely want space between them. I want time to enjoy Decker's baby phase. And obviously now he's becoming a toddler. And yeah, I just like am so like, I just love Decker so much. And the idea of like introducing another human into this element, I just worry. I'm like, will I have enough time for Decker? And like, it just breaks my heart to like think about. And I know that's not the common answer, and that's not like, that was my fridge, by the way, sorry, but it's not necessarily the answer you hear, but it is definitely on my mind, a fear of mine. And by the way, like, I'm gonna give you I'm just gonna say it and then I'll explain it. I am a very empathetic person. I don't mean that in like, I'm so empathetic and perfect. I mean that in a bad way. Too much empathy can sometimes be a bad thing. You should not, like, at least in my opinion, you should not be so empathetic that like, I don't know, sometimes I literally like feel like so deeply for others that it ruins my day. And like, I need to separate myself more from things. But anyway, my point being, like, I just feel like that is a struggle in my heart of just like, I don't know, even I had a very, very, very rough first trimester with Decker, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I can't even imagine doing that with a toddler, in the sense that like not being able to like be my like 100% self for him makes me feel scared. Anyway, I have a whole like thing of emotions going on here. We're not in a rush for baby number 2. I mean, it's not even a rush at this point. It's been over a year, so it's not like anything would be a rush at this point. But my whole motto has always been, I don't want to do under 2. That sounds like a lot. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'll know I'm ready when I'm ready. But right now, I've just been obviously enjoying Decker and enjoying this phase in our lives, and we will see what the future holds. And yeah, that is my answer for now. But please, can anyone let me know if you have ever felt the same way about this situation, that like baby number 2, I don't know, it's like a lot more complicated than baby number 1. Like, and like the timing, and also timing, like most of us can't just be like, snap our fingers and then we're pregnant, like when we want to be. I know some people can, and you can track or whatever, but for a lot of us, like, that's just not possible. You guys know I have PCOS, a cycle. What even is that? Like, some people like literally get pregnant. I was gonna say some people get pregnant every 30 days. Some people get their period every 30 days like that, and they can really track things. That's unheard of for myself, let me tell you. But yeah, anyway, I just wanted to get that out of the way, because I knew I was almost not going to address it, because I'm like, this is just, I feel like I'm always discussing this, but it's like, how can we not address the elephant in the room when I feel like most of the questions people were asking. Like that was seriously like 50% of it. Oh, before I move on to the other questions, I did want to chat with you guys about my beverage of the afternoon, Element. They are the sponsor of today's video, and they are offering you guys a special little deal if you are interested. I feel like I was so late to the Element game, which by the way, if you don't know what Element is, it is a super tasty electrolyte drink that has everything you need, nothing you don't. So there's no sugar, there's no gluten, no additives, no artificial ingredients. Like this is a drink you can feel so good about drinking. I have loved this in place of an afternoon coffee because I am someone like I need something to get me through the after lunch before dinner phase. Like I need something. And this absolutely fits that bill. The taste. This is the orange salt flavor. I am obsessed with all of their flavors. Citrus salt, lemonade, I love raspberry salt, watermelon salt. They have so many good ones. It is seriously just like the tastiest afternoon pick-me-up. I mean, obviously you could drink it any time of the day. I just like it in the afternoon. And electrolytes, by the way, are not just for athletes. Like I always thought, because my roommates in college were on the soccer team, they were always drinking their electrolytes. I always thought like, oh, it's not for me. Like I'm just a normal person. But no, electrolytes are seriously so beneficial for everyone. They can help and prevent headaches, fatigue, sleeplessness. Like there are so many benefits. And so the fact that you are getting these benefits, but also just getting a really delicious drink is such a win-win situation. Also, fun fact, so it's pronounced Element. Carly drinks this as well. And she was telling me about it. And she kept saying Element tea, Element tea, Element tea. In my head, I'm like, oh, she drinks this thing called Element tea, like a type of tea, Element tea. Finally, I'm like, oh, you're drinking Element. So yeah, I mean, you pronounce it however you want. It tastes the same. It tastes great no matter how you pronounce it, but I thought that was funny. But anyway, I'm going to have a link below and you can go to drinkelement.com/ClancyBurke and you will get a free 8-count sample pack of their most popular flavors with any purchase. And that is for new and old customers. Perfect chance just to try out a few of their flavors, see which one is your favorite. I seriously, if you were just like absolutely make me pick, I don't know, because I've always said citrus salt, but this orange salt's amazing, and I also love their lemonade. It's impossible for me to pick. I cannot believe I'm so late to the game on this because it's so freaking good, and it's just such a nice little thing to look forward to every day. All right, but getting more into the Q&A, let's start with Alex asked, what do you miss about life before motherhood? Honestly, the number one thing is just being able to leave your house without having to do a million and one things before it. Like the fact that once upon a time I would wake up and just be like, I think I'm going to go to the gym. And then, maybe like, I can't explain it. Like, obviously, like just once you're a mom, like even if like Zach is watching Decker or like someone else is, like there are a million things that happen before that. Like there's so much planning. There's not a lot of carefree spontaneity, which I have to say, I think one of the reasons I have adjusted kind of well to motherhood, like where I've just loved it. I love planning. I'm a big planner, type A, and I think that type of personality does bode well for this whole motherhood thing. So I think that's why. I don't know. I don't know. But I mean, like, oh gosh, like that feels like another lifetime ago. But obviously, not like I would never trade what I have now for that. OMG, it's Shan asked, how did you mentally navigate body changes through pregnancy and post-pregnancy? I feel like just having a mindset shift, and it's just knowing what you're getting. If I were to wake up and gain 20 pounds overnight, I would not be happy. And I'd be like, what? Like I'd be pretty sad about that, right? But to gain 20, 25, I honestly forget how much I even gained pounds throughout the course of pregnancy for the reward. It just made it so worth it. And I don't know, like pregnancy, I really did not. I just embraced everything. I didn't really have any problems. And honestly, I think one of the huge things is I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get pregnant. I just had before pregnancy like a bunch of question marks, being diagnosed with PCOS and struggling to get a period back and all of these things. And gosh, oh my gosh, do you guys know what is so crazy? Decker was born. Oh my gosh, I can't believe this. Decker was born on September 26th. So I don't know if you know this, but when you go into your iPhone, you can type in like September 26th, you click search, and then in your notes, or not your notes, well, your notes will pop up, but in your Photos app, it'll show you every photo you took on September 26th of every single year. I did that the other day, and I'm like, oh, I wonder what I was doing on Decker's birthday, like in years past. Scroll. Oh, it's funny, I was actually arriving in Jamaica one year, but September 26th, 2023, I was in the gynecologist's office, very sad because I was going in, we were just trying to figure out what the heck was wrong with me. I was dealing with ovarian cysts, like different from even PCOS, like cysts that were bursting and pain, and it felt like I was broken. And I remember they were like, oh, you have to take a pregnancy test. And I'm like, I know it's going to be negative, obviously, because I'm broken. It felt like it was negative, but I took this photo as I was sitting there. I think I was like sending it to someone, like about to take a pregnancy test. And I was like, guys, I don't have any liquid in me. You got to give me water so I could pee. But like literally like kind of like at like a very low, little did I know as I was sitting there with the cup in hand, trying to figure out what was wrong with me, knowing it was going to be negative, even though I would have loved for it to be positive, that a year later I would be giving birth to my son. Like, that is crazy. So anyway, all that to say, I think, yeah, just I had such gratitude, and I have such gratitude, and that's just really what has made, I don't know, like it just changed my perspective, where like my body is not my number one thing right now. Like, yes, I still believe like fitness, health, all that. I'm not saying like, you know, once you become a mom, you throw it all out the door, but I don't know. I just think a perspective change and a perspective shift has really helped and just made me so happy, where I'm like, oh my gosh, like so worth it. I would have gained 50 pounds, 60, whatever, just to have Decker. And yeah, so, but all that to say, like, obviously it's not always easy. Especially seeing your body change that way, especially watching your belly button disappear. I did not like that. I've asked multiple of my pregnant friends, like, what did you think about the belly button? No one cares. I thought it was the most disturbing thing to see, like when I was pregnant, like my belly button, like it didn't exist. I thought that was, I don't know what it was about that, but I just did not like to see such a thing. It did go back to normal, I can confirm. Christina asked, or she said, congrats on breastfeeding for a year. Thank you. Are you planning on switching to cow's milk soon? So if you would have told me that past a year I would still be breastfeeding, I would tell you you're a psychopath. I didn't know if I'd be able to make it to a month. Then it was 3 months. Then it was 6 months. I went to his pediatrician at the appointment and I was like, hey, we are totally ending breastfeeding. I can't do this anymore. What formula do you recommend? She gave me samples, and then at that appointment, Zach just randomly asked, like, he's like, oh, by the way, like, what are the benefits of breastfeeding? I already knew these benefits, right? Like, that's what, like, I already knew them. And she went through them, and I'm just, like, standing there, like, I guess I can give it, like, just a couple more days. I don't know what, okay, well, actually, I do know what it was. I was an exclusive pumper for a while, which means I'm a psychopath, and I willingly, like, because some people have to pump, but I willingly was pumping because I was so nervous Decker wasn't getting enough, and I, like, just couldn't trust myself that I was giving him enough, so, like, I had to physically see it in bottles and ounces, which just drove me crazy. And so after 6 months, I was like, you know what, I'm going to just try this whole breastfeeding thing of, like, because I was doing both pumping and breastfeeding. Let me just breastfeed, and, changed my life. We're, like, it just was so much easier. And I think I also hit like a really big period at like 3, 4, 5 months postpartum where I felt like breastfeeding was keeping me from like, I don't know, like going back to my normal life. Like I was seeing people who were no longer breastfeeding, and it felt like they were just eons ahead of me in like the whole postpartum, not recovery, I don't mean physical recovery, but just like, because they're going back to like themselves. Like they had their bodies back. Whereas every 3 hours, Decker was attached to me. Like I couldn't go anywhere, it felt like. And now I look back and I'm like, what a beautiful thing. I couldn't go anywhere. Like I had to be with Decker. Like I just didn't have perspective then. And so yeah, we still are breastfeeding, but only twice a day, which is huge. We also did switch over to coconut milk. He cannot have cow's milk and many other milks due to allergies. So coconut is our milk of choice. Yeah, I don't know when I'm going to stop breastfeeding. That is very like, when I get him up in the morning, it's part of our routine to do that. And it's very doable. Like, especially doing breastfeeding, what it feels like very part-time. I mean, it's very part-time. I'm literally only doing it twice a day. Is so enjoyable. Like, this stage of breastfeeding is so enjoyable. You just have to like get past this hump, and then it's like the most enjoyable thing in the world. So I would like to stop soon though. I just don't know when that's gonna be. Mally asked, are you ever going to do daycare to get more time to yourself for work and self-care? I also saw Emily asked, would you ever consider getting a nanny? To be honest, as of now, and I mean, I think this is a pretty solid answer, No, not if I'm doing what I'm doing now with YouTube, because the biggest benefit to what I'm doing now is how much time I'm able to spend with Decker. I feel so grateful. Like, I just love, love, love being with him. That is like an absolute oh my God. I'm gonna keep this in because that's a funny blunder of a statement. I was about to say that was an absolute shock to me. I did not mean to say that. I meant to say it's an absolute shock to me how much I love being a stay-at-home mom. Okay, I always figured I was always more career driven. I saw like stay-at-home mom as like, oh gosh, like that's probably so boring. I love being home with him. Like, we have so much fun together. Right now he's at my mom's. Having my parents for help is the biggest thing ever and allows me to do this. So I'm so grateful to have their help, and with their help, I don't need to do daycare. I don't need to do a nanny. And even though sometimes some days are like harder than others where I'm like, gosh, I feel like I can't get anything done, like with my work and it's all worth it. I would rather that. So I'm very, very, very grateful for that. Destiny asked, what's something you said you wouldn't do before becoming a parent that you do now? A million things. I feel like you have an idea of how you'll be as a parent, and then you become a parent and you're like, oh, one, sleep training. I thought, oh my God, 100%. Like, I heard about sleep training. I'm like, this makes so much sense. I heard about sleep training like before I was even pregnant. The Ferber method. I'm like, of course, the Ferber method, which is the one where you just like let them cry in intervals and then you go in. And then I had Decker, and it just hasn't been for us. Definitely didn't think I'd ever be a stay-at-home mom. That is crazy. A minivan is at the top of my wish list. What? Like, I mean, like, listen, they're not the most stylish, but in terms of like your little kids and their happiness in their room back there, it does not get more roomy than a minivan, and it's economically responsible compared to some of the other larger vehicles. So yeah, that's a little crazy to me. I also, this we could have seen coming from a mile away, but I have become more rigid with Decker's sleep times. In the beginning though, I swear, in the first 7 months of his life, 8 months practically, we like were flying by the seat of our pants. He could sleep like just anytime. I'm like, yeah, he'll sleep when he wants to sleep, like whatever. And that was true. Like, he was so sleeping on the go. Like, I'd be in stores, he'd be sleeping. That stopped more, and then I became more knowledgeable of wake windows and like when he really needs to sleep, optimal sleep. And like, once you know it, it's impossible to not know it. Like, in my head, I'm like, the wake windows say, like, for example, like when he had 3-hour wake windows, like once you know that and then you're looking at them and you're like, you should probably be sleeping, like it's so hard not to make that happen. Strict with bedtime, like but like that's not shocking. Like, we all could have seen that. Like, I'm not like strict, like for example, like bedtime within like 40 minutes of a window. Like, we normally start bath somewhere around 7. It's not like a strict thing necessarily. And I mean, if you want to know how flexible a baby can be, go traveling with them. That sounds weird, but travel with them, because it was just a few months ago, we went to Boston where we were supposed to get into Boston at 2 p.m. We got in at 2 a.m. Needless to say, it was a day that tested all of us. And Decker knocked it out of the park. I mean, we were on an airplane at like midnight, like things that were not supposed to be happening. I had this whole plan to a T, the times for the planes. And it just goes to show, like, he did amazing. And also I was like, this is going to disrupt his sleep for the whole trip. It's going to be crazy. It was not. He got right back on track the same way we do. So yeah, like, I definitely have learned that. I also thought he was going to be sleeping in our bedroom until a year, which is kind of crazy thinking about in hindsight. Do whatever you want to do, but like, now that like we've lived our lives a certain way, like, no offense, love him, but like having him be in his own bedroom has been the best for all of us. I actually switched him at 4 months, which, oh my gosh, was like way earlier than I thought. I'm pretty sure the safe sleep recommendations are a year, okay? Like, so, and I was to a T with everything. But the only reason I switched him is because he was outgrowing his bassinet. Like, the night before I switched him, I put him in, and he was a very, very big baby, like greater than 99 percentile. And he was not swaddled. And I'm like, he literally cannot move. Like, he cannot move an inch. Like, this is so ridiculous, me keeping him in there. And by the way, I know that I could have brought a pack and play in our room. I could have moved his crib if I really wanted to. But like, I just was like, I think he's ready to fly from the nest. I was very sad that first night, putting him in his crib. Like, I felt like I was doing something like mean or evil, and oh my gosh, yeah, I was actually like pretty emotional about that, but we're all good. Annie asked, baby girl names you love but won't be using. Oh my god, that's ironic. Annie, I'm obsessed with your name. I've always loved the name Annie. I love the name Anna. Annabelle is one of my Big names. I feel like I've discussed Annabelle with Zach, and he said no, which is why it is on the list. I love the name. I love the name Delilah. I feel like Zach also nixed that for me. Love the name Layla. I love the name Rosie, too. Zach says no to that. Because, by the way, Zach and I have discussed girl names way more than boy names, or at least in the beginning. We were 175% sure that Decker was going to be a girl. Because of old wives' tales, I've always heard that when you're very sick for a pregnancy, it's a girl. So I'm like, this is maybe girl twins. I'm dramatic, but I was very sick. So I was like, I remember doing the gender reveal. I was like, there's no point in doing a gender reveal. It's a girl, obviously. I was shocked when we found out about Decker. Like, because Zach, we did like a private one with just us two, and he got like something to represent the gender. And when I opened it up and I saw the blue, I was just like, this is what? And I was so excited. I would have been excited if it was a girl, obviously, too, but I was so excited. Leah asked, do you think you will eventually get a 9-to-5? Do you miss the work-home separation? That's interesting, because I do think there is something to be said about work-home separation. I don't think anyone has it easy. I don't think stay-at-home moms have it easier than corporate moms. I don't think corporate moms have it easier than stay-at-home moms. I feel like there's always like a battle. Like, who has it easier? Like, who is it? No one. Like, we all have our pros. We all have our cons. And yeah, sometimes I think like there are days that are like the hard ones where I'm like, going into an office would be a vacation right now. It feels like, not really, but you know what I mean? Like, even like, I remember especially in the newborn days when Zach would be like driving to work and driving home. I'm like, gosh, like that 30-minute commute for him, like, that feels like it would be heaven to me. Like just getting 30 minutes in a car alone, just me. I don't know. I don't know if I ever would want to get a 9-to-5. As of now, I have been loving the stay-at-home mom life, but I always say I'm not closing any doors permanently. So far, like timing has not been right. Like I remember right before Decker was born, actually one was right before Decker was born. One was, I literally got a call the day of Decker's birth. Like the person was calling an hour, or no, it was as I was pushing out Decker. I remember telling him on the phone, I'm like, you literally were calling me as I was struggling to push out my baby. Anyway, 2 amazing job offers, but the timing was not right. I remember the first one, I'm like, I haven't even met him yet, like Decker, and I'm gonna sign up for this job, and like I just don't think so, because it was such a good job. And then the other one, once again, great, but I'm like, I have a newborn, like, and a new newborn, like, you know, I was on the phone with this person a week after birth, and I'm just like, it's just not right. So who knows if the timing is ever right, maybe, but it just has not been. And I am loving this little season of life. And that's the cool thing about life. It's seasons, and it's nothing ever has to be permanent. Nothing ever has to be set in stone. And I love that. Laura asked, what's your favorite burn protocol? Good question. Okay. Oh my gosh. I love metabolic conditioning, which is different than full body strength and conditioning. Metcon days are where you do weights with cardio, like at the same, like kettlebell swings. Like I love that. Full body strength and conditioning, I'm obsessed with too. That's kind of where you do them separately. Like you might do building laps and then you come in and do full body strength moves. I love core and conditioning. Those are probably my favorite. I love athletic conditioning. I like that. I like the conditioning days probably better than the strength days. Strength days are great too, but I love just like getting my heart rate up. I love running. Isaac asked, what's something you've experienced in life you wouldn't want Decker to go through? This is such a good question. Definitely anxiety. I mean, that's something that was really, really tough for me. However, I feel like has made me a better person, like more empathetic of others. So there was good that came from it. And I don't want to shelter Decker in such a way that he doesn't get to experience things too. And sometimes I think when you're too protective, it just has an opposite effect. And I want him to be able to experience life. I want him to be able to experience the bad things. I mean, I've been reading a lot about toddler emotions and like, you know, how it all works. And unfortunately, your toddler, your baby's going to cry. They're going to be sad. They're going to be frustrated. They have to experience those things, especially to realize how great happiness is. And like, you've got to experience it all. So like, I hope he doesn't, you know, have a hard time with anxiety the way I did when I was younger. But also if he does, he has a mom who really understands it, I feel like, and is there to help him through it, however that might be. Hardest thing you've ever had to do. I would say the hardest thing, honestly, was just packing up my whole life and moving to Ohio. Not knowing a soul, not knowing, because it wasn't even, first of all, I knew no one. I had no family here. I had no friends. I did not know anyone. But also I was starting a job that I sucked at, that I didn't understand how the heck to do. live news coming straight out of college, breaking news. Like, it just was so hard. But it's obviously the best decision I ever made. And like, it's so crazy. If I didn't do that, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be sitting here right now. Like, that is absolutely insane to think about. Like, that this is my life. I wouldn't have Decker. I wouldn't have met Zach. Like, just so many things that I'm so happy I did that hard thing. That, like, I was just like, oh, like, what am I doing with my life right now? And I'm so grateful. Olivia asked, would you have moved closer to fam if they didn't move to you after baby? I mean, honestly, no. This was definitely not part of the plan at all, which is crazy to think about. Like, oh my, like, there is a universe, like an alternate universe that exists where we only see my parents twice a year, which is how it had been, like once, twice a year. I'm pretty sure during COVID, I didn't see my parents all year. Like, I went like a year and a half without seeing them, which is nuts considering I literally see them every day. But I have to say, like, we are near Zach's parents. I never wanted us to just go away from either parents. And that's one of the reasons when Zach and I were done traveling and we were like, where do we want to settle? And we were thinking about Florida. It just didn't feel right to just leave both of our parents. And we knew we didn't want to end up in New York. We just didn't. It's no offense to my family. It's no offense to the state. It just wasn't a desire of either of ours to live there. And obviously I see Zach's family as my family now, and I did even before we got married. And so I'm like, well, at least in Cincinnati, we're right by Zach's family. They're in Dayton, an hour away. And so it's so great that, like, now we're near both of our families. And, like, I can't even imagine doing this whole thing without my family nearby, like motherhood and having Decker. And I'm not even talking, I mean, this is very real, like logistically, for example, Decker's at my mom's right now, but also just how fun it is. Like, most of the time, I'm not just dropping Decker off. Like, majority of the time, I'm coming over so we can all hang out. Like, it's not just like a babysitting type thing. Like, my mom is not Decker's nanny. My mom's not doing like a full-time babysitting type thing. It's more like, hey, I'm filming something from this time to this time. Can you get Decker? I remember before I had Decker, when I was pregnant, my mom asked, have you thought, like, is there a specific schedule you want with me watching him? And I don't, and I didn't. Like, I don't want it to be so formal. I also don't want her to turn into like a nanny. Like, I want her to enjoy the benefits of being a grandparent, which is where you don't have to discipline. Like, it's like less, formal. And I'm so grateful for the help that they do. And I'm also very grateful my dad is here and working on our office. Guys, the fact that man once upon a time did not live near us, like, I don't know how we did it. Like, he just helps us so much, and we are so grateful. But anyway, I am going to end off this video here, I think. I've actually been talking for over 45 minutes. That's always a fun little fact, because I don't know how long this video ends up being, but obviously I chop a lot of it out. So anyway, I love you guys. I love just catching up. Thank you so much if you submitted a question. If you didn't, be sure to follow my Instagram, because we do a lot more chatting on there. It's just Clancy Bird. And also, it was so great seeing you guys on a Wednesday, because for the holidays, I do want to make an effort to post more, do more Wednesday uploads for the holiday season, because I just like love creating content around this time. I think next video we're going to be decorating for Christmas. We'll see. Maybe not next video, but in the next couple of videos, because yeah, it's still a little early, but soon, and I'm excited. Anyway, I will see you guys then. Bye.